Hey all, welcome to Political Science 101, summer of 2026. It's a 6-week session, so we're going to move at a shockingly rapid pace of about 2 to 3 topics or modules each week. It's a little intimidating, but that's what we're going to do. So this is essentially, right, an introduction to American and Nevada politics. My name is Dr. Francis Joseph Carlton III. I'm in the Department of Social Sciences here at CSN, and I teach within the Political Science program. I have an office at the West Charleston campus, the C building, Suite 269. I do have some office hours posted on the syllabus. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 9:30 to noon on Bluetooth, big blue button. That's a tab on your on Canvas for you guys for this course. It would help if you sent me an email ahead of time to schedule that, and I can set it up and send you the invite. You can also come by the office, but if you're going to do that, again, give me the heads up. I tend to be here on those days and times, but not always. Happy to do that. You have my CSN email address there. Good way to contact me. I have my office phone there. I'm not sure that's all that useful. So I'm walking you through the syllabus and the course and the Canvas shell, all rolled into one. So I'm looking at the syllabus here, have it posted for you guys, check it out. Syllabus, right, is basically a contract of sorts between the instructor and the students. It holds each side to certain standards and expectations. Anytime I modify anything in the syllabus along the way, I would only modify it in a way that benefits students. But I don't think I'll be doing that. But if I ever did, it would be in one direction and one direction only. I wouldn't suddenly make things harder. I would make them easier. The textbook that we're using, and do we still call them textbooks if they're only online? I don't know. But we're using an online text called American Government 4E. I sent you guys the website. It's posted on the Canvas shell for this course. It's American Government 4E. It's pretty basic, but it's also free. It doesn't come with lots of bells and whistles. It's also free. So you access that chapter by chapter. I think it has a study guide now for each chapter. I'll give out study guides for each chapter. We'll also be using chapters from a book called The Sagebrush State by Dr. Michael Bowers, RIP, from UNLV. Although a colleague of mine there, David Damore, has updated it. So now I think it's technically Bowers and Damore. There'll be select chapters that we'll use from that book, but you don't have to worry about that in terms of how to get it. You don't have to buy the book. You can access it at the library online. But I've also posted PDF files of the relevant chapters when we're using those within the appropriate modules. And I think the first time we come across some of the Bowers material is on the founding of the great state of Nevada. The first 2 chapters talk about how Nevada became a state, going deep into history to trace that story. I'll get right down to sort of brass tacks here. What am I looking for? Just making sure the camera's on. I've done that before. All right, so the bulk of your grade in this course will be determined by your performance on 4 multiple choice exams, each one about 50 or 60 questions. I'll post a study guide for these exams ahead of time. Good thing for you guys is I drop your lowest exam score at the end of the semester. And that's worth 60% of your grade. So more than half of your grade comes from the multiple choice exams. I'll also administer 5 current events quizzes Cumulatively, those count for 15% of your grade, and I drop the lowest one at the end of the semester. There'll also be a short writing assignment, 2 to 3 pages. There'll be 2 of those. I drop your lowest one. And there'll be probably 8 or 9 discussion threads. I drop your 3 lowest. All right. Oh, the short writing assignments are 15% of your grade. The discussion threads are the remaining 10%. All right. That's how I calculate your grade. Pretty straightforward. Don't be missing deadlines. I beg you. I rarely extend deadlines. Don't wait till the last minute, ideally, to complete an assignment, because sometimes things go funny right at that moment, and then you do miss the deadline. I mean, yeah, something happened, like you got stuck in traffic or whatever, but it's probably because you waited till the last minute. So don't do that. Don't do that. You'll note there that for the discussion threads, I don't want you using AI at all. 0, not even for grammar checks. I want to hear authentic voices. So the idea of the discussion threads is it's meant to replicate sort of what it means to live in a democracy, right? Which is in part that you have conversations with your fellow citizens about important issues. So if you were hanging out with someone at a social gathering and you were talking about, let's say, immigration policy, before you said something to your friend, you probably wouldn't run it through AI, right? You wouldn't do a Google search to do background research. Just in the moment, in real time, you would talk about it. That's what I want here, all right? It's meant to capture that dynamic flow of conversation between humans. I don't need it to be grammatically correct. I don't need it to be deeply researched. I don't need the use of AI. I do use an AI detector that's extremely accurate. It mostly spits out, when it spits out erroneous analyses, almost always is in the direction of false negatives, right? That is, maybe a student did use AI, but it tracks it as human, false negative. What almost never happens, on average, once every 10,000 times it analyzes text, it gives a false positive. It says that it's AI when it's not. So it is possible that it gave me a false positive, but it's a 1 in 10,000 chance. So for every 10,000 posts I would read, there would be one where it got it wrong in that direction. So just don't use AI at all. My expectation is that you just give a good faith effort. So when you get the prompt for the discussion thread, read the prompt, think about the prompt, respond to the prompt, 2 to 3 paragraphs. Again, I'm not looking for deep research. If you can reference the text, fantastic. If you can reference material I posted on Canvas relevant to that topic, great. That's what I kind of want. But I don't want research beyond that. Research the text and the material on Canvas. Post that, look at what others have posted, and choose one of those and respond to it with maybe 1 or 2 paragraphs. Not just I agree with you or I disagree with you, but why I agree with you, why I disagree. So I'm just looking for that, right? Just a good faith effort to engage in human dialogue with a fellow human in a democracy about important issues. Don't use AI. Don't give in to the temptation. You're going to get a 0. If you make any sort of a significant effort, you're going to get all the points. I'm just looking for a good faith effort that's human. Okay? I can't emphasize that enough. It's that line from the movie Jerry Maguire with Tom Cruise. Right? Help me, help you. Help me help you by not using AI for discussion threads. All right? Don't get me started on that. Now that being said, for the short writing assignments, you can use AI, albeit to a limited extent. The ultimate analysis and writing should be your own. Again, I'm not looking for perfection here. I'm not looking for a PhD thesis quality paper or even a master's quality paper. I'm looking for the quality that I would quite honestly expect from students early on in their academic careers taking this almost certainly as a general education course. Make a good faith effort to respond to the prompt and use the materials I've assigned, and only those materials, to address those short writing assignments. And I drop your lowest one. So I'll point out the obvious. If you do well on the first one, you don't really need to do the second one. All right. And remember, I do drop your 3 lowest discussion threads, because students are going to miss those sometimes because there's so many of them. So you can skip 3 and take zeros and you're fine. Initially, it'll be a ding against your grade, but eventually those zeros will disappear when I drop your 3 lowest. Okay. So in other words, if you make a good faith effort here and avoid falling down the rabbit hole of AI too far, you're going to do pretty well probably. Just keep up and don't miss deadlines. That's the biggest stumbling block for sure in this course, students missing deadlines. Maybe especially possible, right, under the conditions of a 6-week course that would normally be 15. There's a lot of boilerplate in the syllabus that are in all the syllabi because it's required by the institution, and rightly so. If you have any questions about that, let me know. It's all there. Have a little thing about AI. All right. So, covering the syllabus still. Course outline. This is my favorite part, the substance of the course. What are we doing in this course in terms of substance in the course of 6 weeks? Every time I say that, I get nervous. We covered, the kind of things I think you might expect us to cover. Module 1, Topic 1, talking about the basics of American government. What does it mean to have a constitutional democracy such as we still have, although it's in some trouble? What does it mean to have the alternative to that, which is an autocracy, centralized power in the hands of one charismatic cult of personality person? And it turns out, I'll just make a few quick observations here because I can't help myself. It turns out there's no such thing as a completely perfect constitutional democracy, and there's no such thing as a perfect autocracy. Everything's sort of in between these two extremes, either more democratic or more autocratic. It's not black or white, yes or no, up or down, 1 or 0, yes or no. It's, well, how democratic, how autocratic? That's always going to be the question, a matter of degrees. And we, like all other countries in the world these days, we're moving in one direction, sadly. There's a general trend away from being more democratic and a trend towards being more autocratic. We're pretty far down that path. We're currently ranked globally, and this always shocks students. We're ranked around 35th in the world in terms of the quality of our democracy. Some measures have us a little better than that, but generally, let's say we're around the 30th best. That's not great. It's not terrible. It's not terrible. It's not great. We got some problems, people. Other countries have problems as well, all in the same direction. Yeah. And autocracies are becoming even more autocratic, like in Russia, China, Cuba, Iran, etc. So, and it turns out most of human history is the history of autocracy. It's the most common, most popular form of government in human history. Democracy is a relatively recent invention. It's a little chancy and it's a little wobbly these days, and it's not guaranteed at all. Yeah, by far the default option has always been autocracy. And autocracy can be very popular. People often love autocracy. They want someone to take care of business while they don't think about it. I understand the impulse, but it's hard to have a democracy when too many people feel that way. All right. And autocracies can be efficient and very effective. And democracies can be a little bit of a hot mess, I would still choose democracy every time, but others would not. So I get it. And then also as part of that conversation, we'll talk about. I like to talk about demography, our changing demographies, racial, religious, gender, religious. All of these different demographic factors shape our politics, right? When I was born into this world here in America in 1962, America was about 90% white. Today it's about 57% white. Those are big racial changes in 63 years. I can bear witness to those changes. It's been quite dramatic, and it's shifted our politics in a variety of complex ways. We're going to talk about that. Religion, we'll talk about changing religious demographics. Over time, like other Western democracies, we've become less religious, more secular, although still pretty religious, with various different religious groups, right? Muslim, Jewish, Christian, on and on. And that's, a little bit tricky to navigate politically sometimes. We don't always get along beautifully. Sometimes there's conflict over religious identity, racial identity, gender identity. So we'll talk about that. We'll also talk about America's changing age demographics. That's a big one. We're getting older. We're also we might shrink this year in terms of population. That's happening globally. Other countries are much further down that road of getting older and smaller, like Japan. But we're headed down that same road. What does that mean for our politics? It means a lot for things like Social Security and Medicare. It means a lot. We'll also talk about the founding of the United States, the American Revolution, the creation of the Constitution, all that good stuff. We'll talk about the founding of the great state of Nevada, going deep into history. We'll talk about American federalism, how we divide power between national, state, and local governments. We also have tribal governments that kind of fit in awkwardly to that template. We have territories like Puerto Rico that fit in awkwardly to that template. So we have some interesting twists and turns there. But we'll talk about federalism. We'll talk about Nevada state and local politics, how the great state of Nevada raises revenue, how it spends revenue, how local governments raise revenue, how they spend revenue, their role in our politics, specific to Nevada. We'll talk about civil liberties, Bill of Rights stuff. Love that. That's always good. Always fun to talk about. Don't have to sell that too hard to students. It's just naturally kind of interesting. Things like free speech, freedom of and from religion, the right to keep and bear arms, the right to freedom from cruel and unusual punishments, freedom from unreasonable searches and seizures, property rights, due process rights, all that good stuff. Civil liberties. We'll talk about civil rights in America, how those have evolved over time, mostly in a progressive direction from our shaky beginnings with things like slavery, albeit there are times in our history when we've gone backwards on civil rights. Other times we've made progress. I would say broad arc, we've made progress. But within that broad arc, sometimes some regressive moments. Arguably, we're sort of in the middle of one of those right now. We can talk about that soon enough. It turns out really quickly here that because of a recent decision by the U.S. Supreme Court regarding the meaning of the Voting Rights Act of 1965, as amended in 1982, as understood by the federal courts from that moment until recently, it's essentially opening the door to state legislatures in southern states to get rid of electoral districts that are black majority or near black majority. And so what we're going to be looking at, and it's already happening in southern states, is we're going to see fewer black people serving in Congress, in the House of Reps. Now that'll happen in November. So by January of next year, there's going to be fewer black representatives in the House. And that's going to be because of that Supreme Court decision. Is that progress on civil rights? Some would say that it is, because it says, you can't take race into account. You can't carve out districts where black people have a better chance of electing the representative of their choosing. That's good. That's colorblind. Others argue, you gotta be kidding me. Number one, it's not colorblind. And number two, we're going to have fewer black people serving in Congress. How is that progress on civil rights? These are all contentious topics. I understand that. We'll talk about the politics of the U.S. Congress. We'll talk about that institution, by the way, that we love to hate, Congress. President Trump right now, like recent presidents, pretty unpopular. Congress, even more unpopular. We'll talk about the politics of the Nevada legislature, the politics of the presidency, the politics of the federal bureaucracy, what Trump calls the deep state. We'll talk about the politics in Nevada's executive branch. We'll talk about the U.S. Supreme Court, the lower federal courts, Nevada's courts. We'll talk about the politics of public opinion, voting in elections. We have one coming up here in Nevada, by the way. June 9th is the deadline for voting in these primaries. And there'll be a big general election here in Nevada and nationwide in November, of course. We'll talk about voting. By the way, voting in elections here in America, circa 2026, we have really good elections, very little fraud at all. Elections in a large and diverse democracy will always be a little messy. Sketchy things will happen on a very small scale. That's unavoidable. That's people. People are people. People are people. We'll never have a perfect election. Not possible. But we have damn good elections. And it's something we should actually be proud of. And far too many people are not. I don't know. They're not looking at the data. They're referencing conspiracy theories and baseless claims. It makes me kind of angry, given how many good, solid Americans work so hard to pull off these elections that are, almost completely devoid of any significant fraud at all. But yeah, it's true, they'll never be perfect. Don't let the damned good be the enemy. Don't let the perfect be the enemy of the pretty damned good. And our elections are pretty damn good, even when somebody's preferred candidates don't win. All right, the fact that your preferred candidate doesn't win is not evidence, prima facie, of fraud. It's not. It's not. It's just what happens in a democracy. Sometimes your people win, sometimes they lose. It's tough out there. Toughen up. We'll talk about the politics of the media, the politics of our political parties. Again, an institution that we love to hate, but they're super necessary. Necessary evil, some might say, and the politics of interest groups. All right? That's the syllabus. Hope that helps. Copy of that syllabus is on Canvas. The only other thing I would mention here quickly is how to navigate Canvas for this course. Homepage, modules page. I'm going to make the homepage the same as the modules page. That's where it's all happening. If you use the syllabus tab to see upcoming assignments, that can be helpful. It's a shortcut to what's due. But if you only use that tab, you're going to miss all the context, right? So you're going to see a current events quiz 1. But if you only use the syllabus tab, that's all you'll see is the quiz, and you'll wonder what it's based on. Well, dude, man, come on. Go to the home page. Go to the modules page, and you'll see in a module, quiz 1, with 3 articles that it's based on, all together in context. So the syllabus tab is useful to a limited extent to get the big picture, but it doesn't give you the critical micro picture of what's happening in this course. What's happening in this course is on the home page /modules page. It's all there. I've centralized everything there. The quizzes, the short writing assignments, the discussion threads, the current events quizzes, everything is there on the home page. Beautifully organized, I think, pat on the back, in really accessible fashion. Again, help me help you. Don't take too many shortcuts using the syllabus tab. Use the homepage tab. It's all there. So for each substantive module, but again, there'll also be modules for exam 1 with study guides. There'll be a module for all the current events quizzes. There'll be a module for each short writing assignment. There'll be a module for the discussion threads. But the content modules are always going to look like this. An intro video at the top that introduces the broad topic. I try to keep those brief, like 15 minutes. Then you're going to find PowerPoint presentation, narrated slides for a particular topic within that module. And then you'll find the YouTube video version of that PowerPoint. So if you want full functionality of the PowerPoints, use the slides. If you just want to see the video of the slides, use the YouTube. It's a lot easier. Doesn't take a lot of memory. You don't even need PowerPoint. Just look at the video. That also works, of the narrated slides. So you'll see the PowerPoint version of a topic, and then the YouTube video version. Same thing, just different versions. Then you'll see the next topic within that module. Same thing. PowerPoint presentation, narrated slides, YouTube video version. And then towards the bottom, there might be an ancillary video, maybe a video off of YouTube that's useful. So ancillary videos towards the bottom that fill in some more context for the topic, some more insights. And then at the very bottom, you're always going to see a practice quiz. Practice? You talking about practice? I'm from Philly, so yeah, Allen Iverson's rant on practice. But yeah, the practice quizzes for each module. Those are great for preparing for the exams. Really good. And it doesn't count for your grade at all. But I do set deadlines, and you can take it up to 3 times. Try to take those before each exam. It'll help you prepare, because some of those questions show up again on the exam. All right? So that's kind of how to think about accessing this through Canvas. Homepage / modules page, always. Check it several times a week, please. Don't get caught short. The syllabus tab is fine, but it only gives you the overview and due dates. It doesn't provide any of the context or the material that you need to do well. All right. That's all I can think of right now. Welcome to Political Science 101, and I look forward to a productive summer. Thanks all.